Hey guys, it's that time again. I've got a vegetarian dish for you today. It's for mushroom and lentil burgers with kale and blue cheese. It's really easy to make and we're gonna make the patties from scratch. The recipe is adapted from a book I did, which is a series of ebooks released through Penguin on both Amazon and iTunes last year. And they're really cheap to download. In each book, there's 10 recipes on specific categories. So there's a book on pasta, a book on vegetarian cooking, and of course a book on desserts. The really cool thing about the ebooks, it's a concept I had for a while, is that you get the recipe like a normal book and you get a finished photo like a normal book. But we filmed each step of the recipe so you can actually go through and scroll through each exact step so you get to see exactly what everything should look like, how thin things are chopped, how they should look when they're sort of halfway through the cooking process and so on and so forth. So the first thing I'm going to do here is peel up a couple of garlic cloves. And we need to get these along with the mushrooms and a few other ingredients really finely minced into kind of a patty consistency. And you guys can do this by hand. I'm going to do it all in a food processor. I'm also going to add into here half a bird's eye chili. Garlic and chili goes in. We can start to blitz this up. Then I've got some button mushrooms I'm going to add in as well. Mushrooms in, now we can start to pulse. And you know, I got the garlic and the chili in there. It just gave that about 6 or 7 pulses just to give it a head start. Awesome, now we can add the lentils in. Egg goes in. Then pop the lid back on and pulse just a few more times. Without pulsing too much, because I don't want to turn this to a total and absolute puree, you're going to put some breadcrumbs in there and this is just going to act as a binder. Alternatively to breadcrumbs, if you want to go gluten-free, you can use almond meal, same quantities. Lid goes back on. Once you've blitzed all your ingredients together, you can pop them into a bowl. Make sure you get all those kind of sticky bits from down the bottom, the bits that haven't mixed through well. I'm going to grab some flat leaf parsley and pop that through there. I probably should have done it in the food processor, but I forgot. So that's cool, we can do it by hand. And we'll run through this with a knife. And then pop this straight into the bowl. And at this stage, we can add some salt and pepper into there as well. Just a really good pinch. Grab yourself a plate, and then I always use my hands to do this. It's just easier. You can do it with a wooden spoon, but you just don't get the same results. You really need to kind of crunch all this together. With all the patties done there, we can start cooking this. I'm going to show you guys a really cool trick and a particular way to cook these patties. Unlike normal burgers, you could probably do these on the barbecue, but these really benefit from kind of, believe it or not, a slower cooking in a pan. I'm going to show you guys a cool trick using a piece of grease-proof or baking paper, whatever you call it. And I've got this really large non-stick pan here, and this is going to be able to hold all the burgers pretty much side by side. So I'm going to heat that over a low heat, and then grease-proof goes in. And the beautiful thing about this method is we don't need to add much fat, whether it be oil, butter, lard, or whatever you're using. You can just go like a tablespoon of olive oil into there. And then if you want, you can get a pastry brush and just kind of rub that around everywhere. So we've got a really nice thin film. And that's all the fat you're going to need for this. Really carefully just lower these patties into the pan, give them a little bit of a push down. These have been cooking for about 8, even 9 minutes on both sides, so it does take a little while. And the reason I do it on that kind of low heat is to dry some of that moisture out of there. And you could counteract that by just putting a heap of breadcrumbs in there, but then you're basically just having, you know, like a bready, lentil, mushroom patty in bread. So I just try and do it this way, and it works really, really well. As a result, you end up with this beautiful crust on the outside, and then you get this still kind of slightly wet, which may even imitate, I guess, a rare burger for us in the middle. So you get a lovely consistency, crusty on the outside, a little bit moist on the inside still. Just carefully lift it. Be gentle with these guys. You can see it's beautiful and brown underneath, and I'm going to pop it straight into there. Now, Gorgonzola time. You can grab some of this, and I like to get pretty ruthless with this stuff. You guys don't need to put this much. I get really picky with it. I ate like a kilo of this stuff by itself. The wife doesn't talk to me for a single 6 months because my breath's so bad. I'm going to put this to the side. I'm not going to put it in just yet. Another piece of baking paper. Pop it into the same pan, low heat. Just go in with a tiny little bit of extra virgin olive oil. And then crack an egg on a flat surface preferably, and then straight in. Once your egg's almost cooked, you can pop this guy in the oven. Once that's been in the oven for about a minute, we can grab it out. Yeah. And get yourself a plate. So we can start by putting a bit of this bread down and take your spatula and lift this patty right onto there. Next, I'm gonna put a couple of pieces of tomato on there. So just get your spatula under there really gently, and that can go straight on. Now we can grab this avocado. Just gonna slice it in 3 nice thick slices. And we can get some of this dressed kale just kind of off to the side there. Let's finish with that bun. A little cracked pepper. This burger sells itself. You guys have had enough burgers to sort of customize them yourself. This recipe for me is more about this lentil and mushroom patty. It's a really beautiful alternative to meat, and even people who eat meat love this. It tastes really good. That's it for me today. I hope you guys really enjoyed this recipe. I'm gonna go and eat this now. And if you cook this or you enjoy the clip, if you wanna tell me anything, hit me up in the comments section. I'd love to hear from you guys. Have an awesome week.